Hello. I was reading Spurgeon today and I wanted to share something that he said in a sermon that really moved me. I was going to type it out and post it, but it was too long, so I thought I'd just go ahead and read it. This is from volume 1 of his Spurgeon sermons. And if you haven't read these yet, I would highly recommend getting them and immersing yourself in them. They are so encouraging. I have never been so encouraged in my life when it comes to reading a book besides the Bible. So anyway, this was what he said in what I read today. And he was speaking about how God will save many. He said, "Fetch me out the worst, and still I would preach the gospel to them. Fetch me out the vilest, still I would preach to them. Because I recollect my master said, Go ye out into the highways and hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. Many shall come from the east and the west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven." There's one more word I must notice before I shall have been done with this sweet portion. That is the word shall. Oh, I love God's shalls and wills. There is nothing comparable to him. Let a man say shall. What is it good for? I will, says the man, and he never performs. I shall, says he, and he breaks his promise. But it is never so with God's shalls. If he says shall, it shall be. When he says will, it will be. Now he has said here, many shall come. The devil says they shall not come, but they shall come. Their sins say you cannot come, but God says you shall come. You yourselves say you won't come. God says you shall come. Yes, there are some here who are laughing at salvation, who scoff at Christ and mock the gospel. But I tell you, some of you shall come yet. What, you say? Can God make me a Christian? I tell you, yes. For herein rests the power of the gospel. It does not ask your consent, but it gets it. It does not say, will you have it? But it makes you willing in the day of God's power. Not against your will, but it makes you willing. It shows you its value, and then you fall in love with it, and straight away you run after it and have it. Many people have said, we will not have anything to do with religion, yet they have been converted. I have heard of a man who once went to chapel to hear the singing, and as soon as the minister began to preach, he put his fingers in his ears and would not listen. But by and by some tiny insect settled on his face, so that he was obliged to take one finger out of his ear to brush it away. Just then the minister said, He that has ears to hear, let him hear. The man listened, and God met with him at that moment to his soul's conversion. He went out a new man, a changed character. He who came in to laugh, retired to pray. He who came in to mock, went out to bend his knee in penitence. He who entered to spend an idle hour went home to spend an hour in devotion with his God. The sinner became a saint. The profligate became a penitent. Who knows that there may not be here some like that? The gospel wants not your consent. It gets it. It knocks the enmity out of your heart. You say, I don't want to be saved. Christ says, you shall be saved. He makes your will turn round, and then you cry, Lord, save or I perish. Ah, heaven might exclaim, I knew I would make you say that. And then he rejoices over you because he has changed your will and made you willing in the day of his power.